If you're going to lead, you need to develop a joyful swagger. What do I mean by that? I'm not talking about cockiness or some alpha male routine. I'm talking about a real, deep, settled confidence in God. The kind that lets a man square his shoulders, crack a small grin, and walk straight into trouble. Not because he's sure of himself, but because he's sure of the one who walks with him. It's a quiet kind of boldness. A man who has it doesn't need to broadcast it. You just know. That's what I mean by joyful swagger. It's that posture of the soul that says, yeah, this is hard. Yeah, the odds are long, but God is with me. And that changes everything. Scripture is full of men like this. David is probably the best example. He's a teenager with no armor, no sword, no rank. And yet, when he sees Goliath taunting Israel, he doesn't shrink back. He's almost offended that no one else is stepping up. Who does this guy think he is, David says? Not in arrogance, but in faith. He knew his God. He knew God had delivered him from lions and bears before. Why not a Philistine? That's swagger. Or take Elijah, surrounded by 450 prophets of Baal and an angry king. And what does he do? He mocks them. Maybe your God's asleep. Maybe he's off on a trip. The man is outnumbered and alone, and he still stands his ground. That's the sort of calm you can't manufacture. It's born from walking with God day after day, year after year. And then there's Paul, stuck on a sinking ship with a bunch of men losing their minds. He tells them to eat. He tells them not one hair on their heads will be harmed. He speaks with the kind of authority that only comes from a man who's heard from God and actually believes him. See, that's what joyful swagger is, a holy steadiness. It doesn't panic, it doesn't posture, it doesn't need to control everything because it trusts the one who does. That's why it's joyful. Because even in hardship, there's a peace that can't be shaken. And leaders need that badly. Your wife needs to see it. Your kids need to feel it. Your church, your crew, your people, they all take their emotional cues from you. And if you're jumpy, angry, uncertain, or brittle, they'll carry that too. But if you can smile, even a little, when the heat gets turned up, they'll remember that. So how do you get it? You walk with God. You read his word. You learn his character. You stop trying to micromanage everything and start resting in the fact that he has already written the last page. Swagger doesn't come from hype. It comes from faith. You trust him and then you act like it. You don't get there overnight, but you can start now. Lead with joy. Tough skin, soft hearts. Lead like you actually believe Jesus rose from the dead and rules the universe. Because he did, and he does.